Joe's Day Out. This is my friend Joe, Joe Stickman. Hi, Joe. One day, Joe Stickman realized that he had the day off. Yay! Joe also realized that one of his most favorite bands, No Means No, was playing. Yay! They reminded him that suffering is all just a part of the beauty of life. They also reminded him that it's okay to be sad sometimes, that it's just a challenge to overcome, and that to dwell in sadness is a sign of personal weakness. Joe tried to find friends to go to the No Means No show with him, but they were all at a bar getting drunk. Joe hates alcohol. It makes him feel stupid, and he thinks it tastes bad too. Yuck. Joe couldn't find anyone to go with. Oh well, he thought to himself, I guess I'll just have to go by myself. Joe got in his car. Better hurry or else I'll be late. Screech! Uh-oh. Where am I? Joe thought to himself. Joe couldn't remember what he was doing, or where he even was. Oh, I'm in my car. When he lifted up his head, pain shot all the way up his arm. Is this pain worth shouting about, Joe? Joe thought about all the other pain he's been in, and all of the times he'd been hurt. After deciding for sure that this was the worst pain ever, Joe decided that it was okay to scream. It's okay. Go ahead and scream, Joe. Ow! Joe shouted. After a few minutes, a nice lady came up to Joe's window to ask him if he was okay. What's your name, sweetie? She asked. Joe, I think, Joe said. It's probably Joe then, said the nice lady. You've been in a car accident, Joe. It would seem that way. Can you feel your toes, Joe? Yes, but it hurts to turn my head, Joe told her. Then don't turn your head. Try not to move and just relax. Can you do that, Joe? Joe told her that he would try when suddenly a young girl came up to the car and asked, Are you okay? Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. The young girl shouted. Joe looked at the nice lady and asked, I'm bleeding, aren't I? She said yes, but not a lot. Can someone come and get her the fuck away from here? Later on, some very nice men pulled Joe out of the car and into the ambulance and started to ask Joe more questions. Oh good, thought Joe. I like these. Do you know your name? One of the men asked Joe. That nice lady told me it's probably Joe, he replied. Do you know your last name? The man asked. Joe Stickman, Joe answered. Okay, Joe, we need to ask you a few more questions. Try not to close your eyes or go to sleep. Oh, goody, Joe thought to himself. More questions. I'm good at these. Do you know what day it is? The first man asked. Joe told him that it was Friday, but he generally never remembers what day the date is. He told him what year it was, and that the last he checked it was March. But that was a few weeks ago. What month is it? Joe asked. September, the first man said, looking at the other man. The second man said, We're going to have to ask you some more questions. Sweet. Bonus round, Joe said. I'm good at these. Not really, said the first man. That's why we're going to have to ask you more. Do you know who the president is? Joe had to think about this. After a while, he finally remembered. Son of a bitch, Joe shouted. Yeah. The nice men laughed. They all laughed together on the way to the hospital. When they got there, Joe got to ride in a computed tomography scan. Whee! And got x-ray pictures of his spine taken. Jeez. Some of his friends showed up from the bar. Joe decided he really, really hated alcohol. The doctors told him that his neck was broken and that he would have to go to another hospital to ride in the magnetic resonance imaging machine. But first, Joe got to ride in another ambulance. Beep-o, beep-o, beep-o. When he got there, it was very different. There were tons of people there. One of them cut off his Martin Luther King I Have a Dream t-shirt, which was his favorite shirt. Snip, snip. Joe told some jokes because he was nervous. Everybody was having lots of fun. Then one of the nurses told Joe that someone was going to stick their fingers in his pooper to see if he was paralyzed. Joe tried to think of something clever to say. Oops, too late. Joe's mind went blank. He wasn't paralyzed after all. Then he went on a gurney to ride into the intensive care unit. The magnetic Renaissance imaging scan wasn't at all that different from the computed tomography ride, except it made Joe's tongue taste like copper. One of the nurses tried 9 times to take Joe's blood and told him that his veins were loose. But Joe knew better, because one of his friends, who was a phlebotomist, told him that people who say stuff like that are useless, myth-perpetuating piles of shit. Joe didn't have an opinion on phlebotomy, but he started to form one. Then a nurse came in and asked Joe to take a tinkle. Joe told her he didn't have to go, but she told him that if he didn't go, they'd put a catheter in. Tinkle, tinkle! Yay! No catheter! A few more hours later, Joe finally got to go home. Yay! And a very, very nice lady gave Joe pain pills. Yay! I'll save those for later, Joe thought. When he got home, he got to lie in bed all week and move as little as possible, except when he played Guitar Hero. After a week or two, Joe could finally leave the house, so he decided to celebrate with Chinese food. After he ate, he looked down at his fortune cookie. I could use a little positive affirmation, Joe thought. When Joe read his fortune, it made him smile. His fortune read, "The more you complain, the longer God makes you live." You've got to be fucking kidding me, Joe laughed.
True story. Everyone seems to agree that I should get this thing laminated.
Goodbye, Joe.